Thanks again for joining me on this special episode of Monsta MTV. Today we have officially launched our new naked range of sealers. As you can see, I got pretty pumped up earlier. We have got two sealers in our range. One is our naked textile sealer, textile and fabric sealer, and the other one is our naked timber and concrete sealer. And these two sealers, you'll see shortly how they work and the effects they have, but the unique property that both these sealers have is they are based on nanotechnology. Now, I'm not going to give you a science lesson here, but nanotechnology is very, very interesting, and it is devised of very, very minute particles that penetrate, have fantastic penetration properties into surfaces. And what they do is once they have penetrated in and formed a matrix to dry, they don't change the appearance of the surface. So you can see this pillow here. Shortly we're going to play around with some wines and cola and spill get to spill and play like I'm a little kid on here and show how one will bead and one will soak in. And that's the beauty of it. You can't see which side of this pillow at the moment has been treated with the naked range. But the nano sealer technology came from studies many, many years ago on the lotus leaf principle. And those of you that may have seen the lotus leaf, you see that shot up on screen now, shows how water particles just beaded on a lotus leaf. And from the study of that is how nanotechnology developed. And these days, nanotechnology is in a vast range of industries, from automotive right through to construction and even aeronautical. We're taking it now to Monsta technology, and so thrilled to have these into our range now. So I'm going to show you how it works. So as I mentioned earlier, the naked textile and fabric sealer can be used on things like cotton, suedes, any sort of fabric and textile that if it absorbs water and soaks in, this will prevent it from staining. So simply at the start, I'm just going to show you a real easy one, which is just with water. Okay, so you'll see, if I got this right, that this is typically how cotton fabric stains when, or soaks in when water's applied to it. Okay, and you'll see on this side where the nano seal has been used, our naked range, that water's just beading off. Okay, and that's the difference where this is absorbed in and this works like so. So it's a fantastic product, great technology, but you might think, okay, well, I've got water on this, it won't stain, I'll let it dry. But the issue is, as you know, at home, if you've had couches and you've spilled things on them, the major issue is then when you've got things that are lying around like coffee, wine, soft drinks. So I'm going to show you a bit of cola in the same way. Just to show it's real, I'm going to drink it. Bit early for that, but anyway. So here we go with the cola. So you can see that's going to start to stain in. And on this side, the cola beads off the same way. Now you'll see, you might see in screen now, there's a couple little spots that are just sort of hung around on there. With these sorts of sealers, you still need to sort of just absorb up any residue drops, otherwise over time they'll just hang around and sort of have a bit of an absorbent mark in there, but it gives you plenty of time to work with on spillages. Whereas if you spill coffee or soft drink on a couch or one of your favourite fabrics, it's buggered once that happens. You've got to try and either, if you can't take that material to a dry cleaner, you're forever trying to get rid of that stain, and that's a real problem. And let's now apply the wine on the other side of this pillow and see how the same thing happens. So we treated this yesterday, and this is a bit more of an absorbent fabric on this side of the pillow. I'm trying to dodge any droplets of wine, but you can see how that's just soaking in. And on this side, the wine beads off. And so that is the key to the nano sealer. Now I'm going to quickly show you how you apply the naked sealer to a pillow. So this pillow here, we had given it a coat yesterday on one side. So Naked Sealer comes in a nice little spray bottle like that. We have a few different sizes, and that is a just a nice little airless spray unit that you can see here. When I'm doing fabrics, I've got to make sure that all those little crevices of the pillow, the product soaks in. On here, I actually had given this a coat yesterday, but always with textiles and fabrics, you want to give it a second coat. And you can see, you might pick up on camera now, but this has got water or droplets of the product beading on it. That's the effect of the second coat, whereas this one is really absorbing in. But I can tell that I'm actually spraying it on and it's soaking in. And I suggest that if you are in doubt at all that you've put enough on there, you can do the water droplet test, because the water's not going to stain. But you get that in there, really easy to spray, safe to use, there's no hazardous odors with this, no dangerous compounds at all. But I can tell between the two sides the difference between the side that's been treated yesterday and the side that's getting the first treatment today. So very important with textiles that you open those crevices up like so, get in there, make sure you got the product in. It will bead, it will evaporate, it will dry off, and then you've got your treatment done. So this is now ideal for a number of different textiles that you can use around the home, that you might have around the home, particularly things that I can think of like outdoor furniture, where you've got those absorbent fabrics that might be on a cane setting, etc., or even pillows like this that might be either in areas that could be exposed to where spillages happen, but they're a decorative setting in your home. A great way of doing it. I have tried it on suede shoes, suede runners. Another good idea, because they're always a problem when you're outdoors and or if you're at parties and you're spilling drinks on your shoes. So the Naked Textile and Fabric Sealer is available now. I'm going to show you now in a moment how we start using this product with our timber and concrete sealer. So we're going to now get our Naked timber and concrete sealer and have a play with that product. So you can see our boxes come in cradles. You can order them in singles or doubles. And this product is basically designed for any porous surface externally, like anything that's concrete, masonry, a rendered surface, sandstone pavers, limestone pavers, and all the timber surfaces out there that are porous, like that you might find on your decking. So we have a treated and an untreated paver, which I'm going to show firstly what happens when we pour water on it. I should, to prevent any spillages on my floor. And then I've got the surface that you can see is absorbent, and so you can see immediately when you got rain on a surface like that, this product actually will pour water. It gets to a certain point that these surfaces will absorb so much water, and then you'll actually have ponding water on there. With this type of sealer, the other added bonus for external areas applications, it actually provides you with a better non-slip gradient. And that is really important for external, because what you'll find is that the way the nanotechnology works is that you're beading water, and so the surface area of spillage is reduced compared to this sort of situation. So you can imagine outside where you might be having an outdoor party, or you're outside entertaining and you've had rain or water slip. That becomes a slip hazard on that sort of surface, where on here we're always having this effect. And that is the magic of the Naked Sealer. As we showed before on the fabric, I'll do the collar again. And so on this sort of surface, this is always a problem, and this is where we end up getting stains on those types of surfaces. And on the Naked Sealer, we still get the runoff, okay? And where I've got any droplets hanging around, I've got plenty of time to absorb those up without staining. And for those of you that had sandstone pavers, my backyard, unfortunately, had been butchered when I had sandstone pavers from outdoor parties and barbecues outside where you've had spillages outside and you just cannot remove it. You've got to abrade the surface to get rid of those stains. This is a great protection. Even if you've got things like salad oils, etc., it gives you time to soak up those oil droplets. You just don't leave it there, but it gives you time to soak it up and remove that potential stain area, whereas this is just absorbed in and it's gone. So very important to take note of the opportunities outside. For flooring, this is probably the product that is the most beneficial for where you might use the naked sealers, for the fact that it gives you that added bonus of sealing the surface. And for those of you that spend money in nice looking pavers, you want to retain that look. You don't want that gloss appearance, and this is the big thing about naked, hence why we called it that. It doesn't change the surface at all, and that is a big plus. You know, you invest in some nice looking surfaces outside, or even concrete that's been poured, new concrete. You don't want to have to put a clear seal over that looks like it's gloss, or it might be a matte finish, and then you start to see that flaking happen over time. The biggest benefit of this sealer is that it penetrates into that surface and it only breaks down to abrasion. And on a porous surface like this, the actual products penetrate into about 2 to 3 millimeters. And that's going to take a lot of wear to damage the pavers. So it's not an application that you need to revisit every 6 months or annually like a lot of other sealers out in the market. This you shouldn't have to come back to for maybe another 3, 5, 7 years, depending on how much traffic you get on the surface. As a precaution, every few years you can give it a top coat, but you'd see very, very quickly that if I can do this on the surface, it doesn't need to be resealed. It's not absorbing anything, and so the seal is still taking effect. And it has a great, when you see rain occur on here, you'll see that sort of thing happen where water just soaking into the surface, and you see those water droplets happening when it rains. I'm going to show you how the same product now on our naked timber and concrete sealer works on timber. And so now we're going to show how the same product, our naked timber and concrete sealer, works on timber. So this one here, you'll see how the water's beading off. And any of you that have had timber around the home and used timber before, we've spoken about timber rot and how that affects timber because of the way it absorbs water and starts the algae and moss happening. And this is just some pine, and even though the water's running off, it gets to a point where saturation will occur. And so that's just going to keep soaking in. And this just keeps beading off. And again, as you can see, as I mentioned before, this is a classic case where wood timber is outside. If it was a floor surface, you end up with the moisture just accumulating on that surface. Is going to be a slip hazard. This beads off. It gives you what we call that hydrophobic effect. This product is excellent for people that got timber fascias now becoming a really big thing around the country. Wood is going through a renaissance through professional architects and designers, and the surface of choice around the home. A lot of people are using timber fascias now as feature walls, either at home externally. I see a lot of them around beachfront homes. You've got to remember that that is going to absorb salt air, water, all the different types of weather it's going to be exposed to, and over time that's when you start to get algae, moss and timber rot occurring. Treating your timber like this first time and then having it exposed to the weather, you're going to have this effect forever and a day, and it will protect your timber. It'll keep it the colour, that natural look that you want to retain. Now I'm just going to turn this over to show you how, if I was applying this to timber that hasn't been treated, it will look like that I've got a water spillage on there, but I actually have got to apply the naked sealer all over that surface. And it will slowly soak in and absorb in. This, obviously, as I said before, the way to test if you ever need to reseal is that once it no longer absorbs a liquid in, you know that your seal has taken effect. So I would leave that surface like that now for a day at least. You'll see that it will absorb in, it forms that sealer. As soon as I get that beading effect on there, I know that I've got enough product on there to do the job for me. So, as I mentioned before, the Naked Sealer, the Textile Fabric, we've got that in two sizes, 100ml and a 250ml bottle. Comes in a little box like that, ready to order now. And our Naked Timber and Concrete Sealer is available in 250 and 1 litre bottles. If you'd like to order these, please go on our website or contact our Monsta crew. Happy to help you. Get naked at home, get this on your surface and protect it. We'll see you next time, fully clothed.